Hey everyone, and welcome back to LODPC. This is Clayton, and today we're going to look at my system. I affectionately call it Green Machine, mostly because I like the color green. So we'll go over a few things, and I'll just give you the list of things right now, and then I'll talk about them, and I'll put up some stuff on the screen so you can see some of that stuff. So the first thing we got in the system is a Ryzen 5 2600. I have that overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz. And I like it. It's 6 cores, 12 threads, and it does its job really well. The second thing I got in this system to match to that is the X470 Gaming Pro Carbon by MSI. This is a wonderful board. It is more expensive than your regular board, and it is just a regular X470, but it has the ARGB and it has a few extra things, and I really enjoy it. I think it's really stable. It's got a 5+2 VRM on it, and it's got RGB bling all over it, so it's pretty nice to look at. After that, of course, we got the Skill Trident Z Rgb. That's a 3200 megahertz, running 16 gigabytes, 8 gigabytes times 2. Of course, I've got that overclocked too to 3600 megahertz. Probably pretty lucky that I got it to that. It's not super stable at that either, so usually when I'm doing my editing and stuff like that, I'm bumping that back down to 3400 megahertz. That kit runs at 16, 18, 18, 38, as you can see on your screen right now. And, it's RGB and it looks really nice. To cool the processor, because I have that running at 4.3 sometimes, and most of the time at 4.2 gigahertz, the Coolmaster Liquid Master ML240R RGB. And that, I do have it running now in a push-pull configuration in the front of the case where I had it at the top of the case to begin with. And it works really good. It's actually something that's very nice. For storage, I've got the XPG SX8200 from ADATA, and I've got the 480 gigabyte model in there. This is not the Pro ones that just came out. This is the first ones that came out prior to that. 3200 megabit read speed, 1700 megabyte write speeds, as you can see on the screen there, NVMe 1.3. This is a wonderful drive. It's fast enough for everyday stuff. Of course, that's not the only thing I have in my system. I have a Seagate Barracuda 3.5 2 terabyte drive with 64 megabyte cache, and that it's pretty peppy, 7200 RPM. That's just for games and for video files for these videos that I like making for you guys. And so originally I bought this system and I was thinking, what am I going to do? I'm going to play some games. I'm going to do some video work. Maybe I'll get a video. I don't know what video card to get. So I originally bought the Sapphire Pulse RX 580. 4 gigabyte model, and it was a wonderful card. I had no issues with it, but you know what? At the end of the day, I could feel it in my bones that I needed something faster. I needed something, give me a little bit more extra oomph. And I knew that eventually I was going to be running at 1440p. So, and not that the 580 is not a 1440p card, but it definitely, you would have to play at medium settings, I think. So I ended up going with the EVGA GTX 1070 Ti for the Win 2 Ultra Silent. Wonderful card. It's a three slot solution. Thing overclocks like nobody's business, and I'm quite happy with it. At the time, I did have a choice between that and a 1080. I ended up going with this because it was about $100 cheaper with the discount that I got with it. So, but for 1440p gaming, this thing is amazing. I've had no issues with it at all. And it overclocks basically to a 1080. And I know you guys are going to sit there and say, but if you got a 1080, you could overclock that and it would be even faster. I get it, but for $100 and the budget I was under at the time, I couldn't afford that extra $100 at the time. For power supply, I went with the EVGA 600BQ. 80 plus bronze, 600 watt, semi-modular. I originally had my eyes on a 750 watt power supply, fully modular from EVGA, but I got this at, and you can see on the screen there, it says $69.99. I ended up getting this, and I'm in Canada, of course. I got this, I think it was $49.99 Canadian, $59.99 Canadian, which is probably around, $40 American. It's I couldn't pass it up for that price. That's just a ridiculous price here. And, I wanted to spice things up. I already had the RGB and everything like that. So I went to Cable Mods. Well, I went to Amazon. I got it. But Cable Mods is the one that came through for me on Amazon. And I ended up with the green and black Cable Mod Basic Mod Flex cable extension kit. Of course, this comes with the 124-pin ATX cable. It comes with the 4-pin EPS cable for the power to the CPU. And it's got two 6+2 PCI cable extensions, which actually ended up working out really well because my card has two 8-pin connectors. It comes with the cable combs. It's really nice to look at in the system. I got the case. I ended up with the Corsair Crystal Series 460X. You know what? I love the case. It looks really nice. It's beautiful. I had issues with the fans. Not that they're bad fans. They're really good fans, but I had issues with the fact that they were not addressable RGB in the 5 volt variety. They're 12 volt addressable, which means that they're always one color. They're not LED addressable per LED. So I did fix that, and I ended up going with the up here T7SYC7, and that was a 6-pack. And these are great fans. To be honest with you, and I'm going to have a review on them coming up, but definitely they come in a kit of 6. They have an RGB controller, and I was able to actually even plug in my AIO into it. Because it has an extra spot. It has 7 spots to plug things into. And so everything is all color-coded in one thing. And it hooks up to the 3-pin connector on the motherboard. So I control it through the MSI Mystic Like app. And it's fantastic, actually. It's really good. What else is in my... And those fans are also PMW controllable. So they go from... where's their specs on here? They go from 600 RPM all the way to 1700 RPM. And mine go a little bit faster than 1700. You can see at the end here it says plus minus 10%. Mine go about 1740, somewhere around there. But definitely a nice system, a nice little system here. I'm going to throw up on the screen right now, some benchmarks. Well, not benchmarks, but just some gameplay with Afterburner in the top corner there. You can see that Tom Clancy's Division 2, and you can see the frame rates that I'm getting in there, and this is in the high settings, 1440p, and it's definitely playable. Do I want to upgrade the CPU? I am eventually going to go to a better CPU for editing videos, of course, and I'm going to probably go up to 32 gigabytes of RAM eventually, so it makes it a little bit easier for editing videos as well. But as it sits right now, it's pretty nice. And then now you can see I've got, I'm going to switch over to World of Warships. It's a game that I really enjoy playing. It's a tactical game. You got to play with other people. And hopefully you get on a team of people that don't just, do weird things and go flying into games and right into the middle of battle. So it's a little bit more tactical than that. But it's fun. You can see that getting pretty decent frame rates in this. It is capped, and I'm going to take the cap off so you guys can see what the maximum output is. Because the game has a file that caps it at, I believe, 70 frames per second. I normally leave that on because I don't need it over 70 frames per second. And it never dips below that anyways. But as you guys can see on the screen right now, it's a lot higher than that normally. And then Apex Legends, I play this. I'm not very good at it. As you guys probably are noticing on the screen, I'm getting killed pretty regularly. But I'm going to show you guys the frame rates in this. And, I like to jump on there every once in a while and play some games. It definitely does good in that. The 1070 Ti is definitely not a card that's going to go away anytime soon. Still available at some places, but for the most part, it does its job. I'll throw up right now. What am I going to throw up right now? I'm going to put on the screen probably Firestrike. And you guys can see here in Firestrike, getting definitely good amount of frame per second. It's not a 2080 Ti, and I don't need it to be that. Would I want one? Absolutely. If one of the companies want to send me out a review sample, I'll definitely do a review on it. If they want it back, I'll send it back to them. I have no problem with that. But that's my system as it sits right now. I'm going to throw some B-roll on there so you guys can see what it looks like here at the end. Hopefully there'll be some music to go along with it. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you like the content, hit the thumbs up. If you dislike the content, go ahead and hit thumbs down. And of course, as always, if you like the content, hit the subscribe button down on the lower right hand side there. I do appreciate it. And of course, everything in this video is going to be linked at the bottom so you can buy it if you want through the Amazon. I also have a Patreon account if you wish to help me out getting some new equipment to test or and maybe early access to videos. Just go ahead and subscribe to me on Patreon. And I hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.